the armies of both parties. Purport. In this verse, Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha. Gudaka means sleep, and one who conquers sleep is called Gudakesha. Sleep also means ignorance. So Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance because of his friendship with Krishna. As a great devotee of Krishna, he could not forget Krishna even for a moment, because that is the nature of a devotee. Either in waking or in sleep, a devotee of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, form, quality, and pastimes. Thus, a devotee of Krishna can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. This is called Krishna consciousness, or samadhi. As Hriakesha Harishikesha, or the director of the senses and mind of every living entity, Krishna could understand Arjuna's purpose in placing the chariot in the midst of the armies. Thus he did so and spoke as follows.
Text 25. Translation. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all other chieftains of the world, Rishikesha, the Lord, said, "Just behold, Partha, all the Kurus who are assembled here." Purport. As the supersoul of all living entities, Lord Krishna could understand what was going on in the mind of Arjuna. The use of the word Rishikesha in this connection indicates that he knew everything, and the word Partha, or the son of Kunti, or Pritha, is also similarly significant in reference to Arjuna. As a friend, he wanted to inform Arjuna that because Arjuna was the son of Pritha, the sister of his own father Vasudeva, he had agreed to be the charioteer of Arjuna. Now, what did Krishna mean when he told Arjuna to behold the Kurus? Did Arjuna want to stop there and not fight? Krishna never expected such things from the son of his aunt Pritha. The mind of Arjuna was thus predicted by the Lord in friendly joking.
There, text 26, there Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his father-in-law and well-wishers, all present there. Report. On the battlefield, Arjuna could see all kinds of relatives. He could see persons like Brishrava, who were his father's contemporaries, grandfathers Bhishma and Somadat, teachers like Dronacharya and Kripacharya, maternal uncles like Shalya and Shakuni, brothers like Duryodhana, sons like Lakshmana, friends like Ashvatthama, well-wishers like Kritavarma, etc. He could see also the armies which contained many of his friends.
Text 27. When the son of Kunti Arjuna saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. Again, or pass? 28, translation. Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up." Purport. Any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly persons or in the demigods, whereas the non-devotee, however advanced he may be in material qualifications by education and culture, lacks in godly qualities. As such, Arjuna, just after seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them who had so decided to fight amongst themselves. As far as his soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death. And so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver and his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically the whole community, all blood relatives of Arjuna, had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjuna, although it is not mentioned here. Still, one can easily imagine that not only were Arjuna's bodily limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but that he was also crying out of compassion. Such symptoms in Arjuna were not due to weakness, but to his soft-heartedness, a characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. It is said, therefore, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarvar gunais tatra samasate sura hara prabhaktasya kuto mahat guna mano ratena shati davato bahi. One who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigods. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are of little value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy. Bhagavatam 5:18-12.
Text 29, translation. My whole body is trembling and my hair is standing on end. My bow, Gandiva, is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. Purport. There are two kinds of trembling of the body and two kinds of standings of the hair on end. Such phenomena occur either in great spiritual ecstasy or out of great fear under material conditions. There is no fear in transcendental realization. Arjuna's symptoms in this situation are out of material fear, namely loss of life. This is evident from the other symptoms also. He became so impatient that his famous bow Gandiva was slipping from his hands, and because his heart was burning within him, he was feeling a burning sensation of the skin. All of these are due to a material conception of life.
So shall we pause here?
Maharaj, is there? So you can ask. Hare Krishna Maharaj, would you like to make a comment? No, we can.
When I hear this these verses, I think about how I feel on Sankirtan sometimes when I go out there. It's like hovering on the mental plane. Because everyone is on the mental plane, so sometimes we ourselves slip that. Fall into the mental plane ourselves due to weakness of heart, and then it's hard to get back out of it, So sometimes you just have to like spontaneously like jump into it, until you can get overcome the mind, the chattering of the mind, giving you so many reasons why, why you're not wanting to approach people, because of their negative reactions. Doesn't matter, they're not their bodies. They're on the mental platform, and they're just right. They're just acting due to their covering sinful activities, which are covering their intelligence.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that's true. That no one is really much more themselves than anyone else. We're all just, portrayal of our inner karma, and like, I was thinking of example, but it slipped. But yeah, just we all carry this different psychophysical nature, and the laws of karma are acting. We have free will, but also we are pretty much, since coming, into this material world, we're just struck with, sort of eternal karma. So we're not even ourselves. People think they're out making a choice and they're doing something. Oh, I want to do this. Yeah, but we're just conditioned to think that we're making these choices, But it's, if you were someone else in some other situation, you would make a different choice. But I appreciated this purport in text 21 and 22, and it was pertinent to something that was said this morning about, how Krishna, Prabhupada's relaying a very deep and concept of Krishna consciousness, whereas Krishna desires to become controlled by his devotee. And that's almost inconceivable, but it's also a beautiful thing to think, sometimes that it obviously should never be the goal of someone, they come to Krishna consciousness because I want to conquer God with love, but that's what we're doing, and if it's done in a beautiful way, in a nice way, then that's what Krishna is desiring. He's looking for that, that kind of relationship. And it's nice knowing that, who we surrender to is, not like some king who's just always wants to be worshipped. That's Vishnu in Vaikuntha. He's always being worshipped and glorified, chanting Purusha for eternity. They're just glorifying his qualities endlessly. But in Vrindavan, he's not like that. He doesn't wish to be glorified in the same way. He likes, Vishnu decorates himself with crowns and jewels and everything, and Krishna just decorates himself with the clay on the ground or the kumkum or some flowers and fruits and things. He's so simple and yet so very deep.
Yeah, really, you made a pertinent point, Prabhu. So, yeah, just to take the discussion forward, one point which I would like to share is with respect to Arjuna seeing the armies and then feeling a element of compassion. And it was told that compassion is one of the qualities of a pure devotee. But again, it was a clarification was given in the purport that the compassion which Arjuna had was not because of weakness, but because of softness. So that essentially tells that devotees have the quality of compassion, wherein this compassionate spirit takes them forward to spread the spirit of and the glories of the holy name with whomsoever they meet, whenever we go on harinams. So, in case if we are able to carry that element of compassion to whatever extent possible, then we will surely be empowered by Lord to spread the message of holy name with much rigor, zeal, courage, and that would surely follow. Yeah, that would surely be a great motivation, not just for us, but also for the others who are taking up the practice of Krishna consciousness. and the next thing was like the idea of Rishikesha. So like Lord is the master of senses, and he also knows what is going on in the minds of his devotee. So therefore, I think a reference has been made wherein he was called as Rishikesha. The Lord Krishna is called as Rishikesha because he understood what was going on in the mind of his devotee. So in this context, the meaning was also elaborated. And of course, yeah. So also a good comparison was made wherein the description of Arjuna's chariot was being made, stating that Arjuna's chariot had the flag of Hanuman, and Lord Krishna is nothing but Lord Ram himself. So wherever Lord Ram exists, there his uh, eternal servitor, that is Hanumanji, and also Lord Ram's eternal consort, the goddess of fortune, Mother Sita. So they also existed. So therefore, with such a like phenomenal combination, the victory was guaranteed on the side of righteousness, which Yudhishthira and his like say his army represented. So yeah. Okay, maybe we can still see if we have something best to share. You want to make a point, Prabhu? Yeah, this good. So I'll read out a verse, text 24, translation and purport. So it says, O descendant of Bharata, being thus addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drove upon the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. Purport. In this verse, Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha. And Gudaka means sleep. And one who conquers sleep is called Gudakesha. So in this context, I remember the story when Arjuna was practicing his archery. So he was such a dedicated student that he used to practice archery all around the day. And he used to take us in the night. And one fine day, what happened is he saw his brother Bhima, who was taking food in night, especially when there was no light. Taking food in the night when there was no light. Like there was no light lit, but still he was able to find where his food was. He was able to take the food, put into his mouth. Then Arjuna just reflected, like he's just spending half of his day practicing archery, and the rest half of the day is going and say in recreation or probably taking rest. And his brother is able to eat food even in night without seeing what is around him. So why not he use his nighttime also to practice his archery to become the best version of himself? So that's when this idea of Gudakesha also is related in that context. Yeah. So I don't remember the exact reference of it, but yeah. So then what happened is Arjuna gave up his sleep. He conquered his sleep, and then he practiced archery not just in the morning time but also in the nights. And that's how he has fine-tuned his skills of archery. So yeah, by practicing even in the night. And for that, Bhima happened to be a source of inspiration. And to continue the purport, sleep also means ignorance. So Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance because of his friendship with Krishna. So very nice, right? Arjuna has conquered both sleep and ignorance because of his friendship with Krishna. As a great devotee of Krishna, he could not forget Krishna even for a moment because this is the nature of a devotee. So the nature of a devotee is he always thinks of Krishna. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnum, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dhyasyam, Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. So yeah, these are the 9 processes of devotional service, but this keeps a devotee engaged all around the day in service of Lord. As a great devotee of Krishna, he could not forget Krishna even for a moment because that is the nature of a devotee. Either in waking or in sleep, a devotee of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, form, quality, and pastimes. Thus, a devotee of Krishna can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. So, I think it can be a great reflection and also, I would say, antidote for us. Since at times we feel like we oversleep or remain ignorant. So, it's a nice shortcut formula, I would say, like which says that a devotee of Krishna can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. So, that's a nice way, yeah. And this is called Krishna consciousness or samadhi. As Rishikesha or the director of the senses of mind of every living entity, Krishna could understand Arjuna's purpose in placing the chariot in the midst of armies. Thus he did so and spoke as follows. So yeah, quite a verse which we can reflect upon and also take a lot of insights from it. Yeah. I mean, I think the
I was just appreciating that Prabhu pointed out because I never kind of caught the difference. Sometimes we hear like conquering sleep and ignorance, thinking we have to be like the six Goswamis and never sleep or something. But Prabhupada's just saying because the devotee, at least somewhat advanced devotee, I can't say myself, but some devotees, in waking or in sleep, a devotee of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, form, quality, and pastimes. Thus, a devotee of Krishna can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. So, because one is thinking of Krishna all day, then when he goes to sleep, thinking of Krishna also, so sleep in that way is conquered.
right, that's true. So thinking of Krishna takes us into the mode of goodness and further into the mode of transcendence. So therefore, it pulls us above the modes of passion and ignorance. And this statement is also quite pertinent. Text 28 purport, the very initial lines. Any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly persons or in demigods. Whereas a non devotee, however advanced he may be in his material qualifications by education and culture, lacks in godly qualities. So, uh, so the very element of having the devotional spirit of devotion fills towards the Lord, fills an individual with those godly qualities. Because we are part and parcels of Lord, and when we associate with Lord, therefore we also get those divine qualities. Okay, so yeah, so thank you everyone for joining. Srimad Bhagavad Gita class ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.